Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. It's Chamber check-in time. And today I have General Manager of Gem State Paper and Supply Company, Mr. Ryan Anderson, with us today. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, I'm excited to help share your story and the company's story with the listeners today. It's a pretty amazing company that you and your family have had for I don't know how many years, so I can't wait to hear about that. And I know you've been a chamber member as longer than I've been alive. So I think since 1972, and so it's really good to check in with you and see how your team's doing. Um, so we'll take an opportunity for that. But first, let me thank my series sponsor for these check-ins, Ryan. It's Delta Dental of Idaho. And as you know, Delta Dental has provided Idahoans best-in-class dental insurance benefits for over 50 years. And they also support the community in a myriad of ways as well. And so with that, I get to share a fun factoid from their Tooth Truth series. Here we go.
Did you know that teeth are the hardest substance in the human body? I did.
Thank you, Delta Dental. And Ryan, hey, thanks for taking some time with me today. Tell us a little bit about how your team's holding up, and then we'll dive into some history of work with you.
Sure, you bet. We've been pretty strong, as you know. Toilet paper and hand sanitizer have been a big thing these days, and that's really kept us going. And, we've got plenty to offer and something for everybody.
Hey, when did the Gem State Paper and Supply Company start?
So last year was our 75th year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you started right here in Boise, Idaho, right?
Twin Falls is corporate headquarters, but
Okay.
we've had a presence in Boise for as long as I can remember.
Okay. Okay. Tell us a little bit about your story. And I know it's a family-ran business, so kind of take us back to that first year of those 75 years and kind of bring us up to speed, and then when you got involved.
Sure. So started by my grandfather back in 1946, right after World War II. He kind of came back from the war and said, what do I do? And kind of looked around and, saw what the needs in the community were. And I think some of the few things that he told us about that he started selling was Bic pens and pantyhose are the two things that come to my mind. Just right out of the back of his trunk.
Wow.
He'd go around and call on businesses and say, hey, what do you guys need? And as he found needs, he found different things to order and to buy from. And back then he had a hard time trying to get people to sell to him, to provide supplies, but he eventually, did it and did it well.
Well, that's amazing. Bic pens and pantyhose. I'm sure the different products have expanded over those 75 years. So tell us a little bit about the evolution of the products.
So now you quickly became interested in things that turned, like toilet paper and food service disposables, napkins and plates and cutlery and cups and to-go containers, all the things that turned that people were in high demand for, disposables and whatnot. And then it kind of grew into cleaning supplies, janitorial chemicals, floor scrubbers, vacuums, pretty much anything to keep your business running, to keep it clean, that type of items.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about when you got started. I mean, were you in the back of the truck handing out those Bic pens as well?
Back when I started, which has been 25 plus ish years ago officially, but before that, as kids, I have two brothers, one older, one younger. We're all involved in the business. But, just spending time watching our dad run the business, spend time in the warehouse. It was just fascinating to us to watch the processes and how things were handled. And, we were always taking notes on things we could improve. And, started in the warehouse, working my way up, and then delivering items. I came up here to Boise and ran the store up here for about 10 years, graduated from BSU. And then my needs were needed in Twin Falls, where our corporate headquarters are. So I moved back there to kind of help run the ship. I ran the purchasing department and marketing department for a while, which was really fun. And then in 2015, I was promoted to be the general manager.
Okay. Wow. Well, and you've got a legacy of history and knowledge in the industry. What you mentioned the Boise store. So you have how many locations and in how many different areas?
So our headquarters is Twin Falls, and we kind of have like a spoke and wheel operation. So we have a store here in Boise, Idaho, also one in Pocatello, Idaho, and then Elko, Nevada.
Oh, okay.
So
And
4 locations.
and do you distribute to just businesses, or are you available for customers right up the street to come in and purchase some of the products?
Yes, we do
Okay.
both. We deliver, which is our preferred method, deliver it to the customer, make it easy as possible. But each of our locations also has a wheel call where you can come in and buy products, food service, disposables, cleaning supplies. You can use what the professionals use. Come on down and shop our stores and see what we have.
That's so funny. I was talking to Mark Houston. He's the local president of Bright Bank, and he's hosting an after hours soon. And you all are hosting the after hours tonight. And I said, hey, we're going to have it at Gem State Paper. And he took a picture of outside his window of a Gem State Paper and Supply truck delivering to him. That's kind of cool. I love that stuff.
That's awesome. Love it.
Okay, so 75 years in business. You're in Pocatello, Elko, headquartered in Twin, and Boise. And tell us about the different careers that you guys are looking for currently.
Right now, we have an opening in Boise, Idaho for an inside sales position. And that would be a person teamed up or partnered with an outside salesperson. So they'd kind of be behind the scenes, answering the phones when customers call in their orders, or calling customers and asking them for orders. Kind of goes both ways. And then let's see, in Twin Falls, we have a couple positions. I think one on night shift. I think that's it. Most of our people stay with us for a long time. In fact, one of our salespeople that has the Burley, Idaho territory it's his 49th year. So he's going to make it to 50 and retire after 50 years. It's a neat story.
Ryan, that tells me a lot about the culture of your leadership and the historical leadership of the organization. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the culture and how that's been established with you and your team?
Sure. When I moved to Twin Falls about 15 years ago from Boise, one of the things I identified right away was the culture at the time was a little bit stuffy. And I like to have fun. And I think it's important to have fun, because if you're not having fun and not enjoying what you're doing, it's not worth doing.
Right.
So we incorporated things like potlucks and parties and contests and things to kind of lighten the mood. And laughter is always a big part of my day. If you're not laughing, you're not having a good time. Laughter is my therapy. It's my go-to place. And so we've tried to instill having fun and, being able to be flexible as an employer is important for people that have ball games with their kids or whatever they need to go to. Just to have that atmosphere where people can feel at home, enjoy the people they work with. Because if, we're with these people more waking hours than we are with our own families.
Right.
So it's important to enjoy what you're doing and have fun doing it.
I love it. I love it. So let's talk a little bit about the pandemic. I know we're coming out of this on the other side, and thank goodness. How did that affect your team and your product delivery with businesses going virtual? And tell me how you guys held up over that.
Fortunately, a couple of years before the pandemic, we identified as people's PCs started going out, we replaced them with laptops. So we were already ready to work mobilely, and a lot of our staff had to do that. But we have a lot of staff that couldn't do that. Our drivers, our warehouse guys, they couldn't leave. They had to be there to touch it. And we were really thankful to them to be able to, trudge through it and keep us in business. But yeah, we had to close our doors to the general public for about 2 months. And I can just imagine my grandfather just cringing at the thought that we had to close, because we couldn't serve everybody, unfortunately, just because of lack of supplies. Toilet paper was a big deal. Who knew?
Right.
And then quickly hand sanitizer and gloves and all those things to keep us safe and healthy were just in high demand. Face masks also. So yeah, we did well. We did really well with the pandemic. And we're still doing well.
Yeah, it's an essential business, right? And you
Right.
provide businesses and hospitals and many other industries with supplies. I guess my big question is, do you sell paper?
We do, but the funny thing is, with our name being as old as it is, we went through a rebranding, 2 years ago. Do we change the name? We kind of refreshed our logo, our brand a little bit, and 2 marketing companies say, do not change the name. You've been around way too long to change it. We will help you market other things that you do besides paper. Yes, we do have your 8.5 by 11 regular copy paper in the few different sizes, but most of the paper that we deal with is disposable toilet paper and towels and napkins and plates and all that type of paper.
Okay. Hey, what's your lead time? Let's say you have a salesperson that has a route. and they make an order for a customer. Is it 2 days? Is it next day delivery? Tell me a little bit about that.
Most of our areas close to our hubs are next day delivery. If you get to McCall, I think it's once a week. So it just depends on what territory you're at. But most of the time it's next day delivery.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I can imagine shipping and you being able to secure goods for your customers has been a challenge as of late too. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, you bet. The last couple of years has been really stressful for our purchasing team to try to source new products and find creative ways to different sources or different products to get customers by. There was a shortage on styrofoam, I think, to-go containers, which is a technology that's old. In a lot of instances, it's going to go away. So trying to find other options for customers that are better for the environment. Sometimes they might cost a little bit more, but I think that's just something that we're all going to have to face is as those old technologies go away, that there's new things coming that can serve our purposes better.
Well, and that I bet you there's some local suppliers as well that you were able to contract with. Tell us about how important local is for Gem State Paper.
One thing that we love to do is keep the money in the valley. As we help other people and they help us and they buy from us, local companies sure, there's lots of options, lots of big box companies you can buy from, but when you do that money leaves the valley in a sense, and it's so important. And I think we all experienced that with the pandemic is, gosh, how valuable all of us are when we stick together and support each other. And we try to do as much as that as we can with donations, with sponsorships, schools, or different charities. We try to help them out by donating products as much as we can.
That's crucial. I'm right with you there, Ryan. And so that just kind of is a good segue into your community involvement. And I would imagine over the 75 years, you've supported, your headquarters and all your other brick and mortar warehouses and those surrounding communities. Tell us some of your favorite passions and some of your success stories from community involvement over those years.
I remember my grandpa was in the front page of the Times News, the newspaper in Twin Falls at some point for I think 6 or so pallets that we shipped to the American Red Cross. I can't remember the event or the tragedy that happened at the time, but we did a big donation to the Red Cross. We like to support a lot of local charities, for the events that they put on. The Valley House in Twin Falls is another one that we support a lot by giving them. A lot of times when we get freight in, there's damaged products that we can't sell to the customer, but they're still usable, so we'd love to be able to spread that love and help others as much as we can.
I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to go back to a little bit about your people. There was a sales manager, sales director with you by the name of Larry Amon. And Larry, when I first met him, was one of those guys that you would walk in the door, he'd be 50 yards away from you, see you, and raise his hand and wave at you. And he was kind of a mentor of mine on the sales side. And he taught me a lot about, being do the right thing when no one's looking type of mentality. And I really enjoyed working with him. And I can imagine how credible your team is as well. Tell us a little bit about the talent of people that you guys have.
Well, Larry's a good example of the people, the longevity and the service. I think he started in our company back in his early 20s and worked his way up in the company. A lot of our employees have done that. And we believe in promoting from within as much as we can. But he was a good story. He left behind a legacy, and he was almost like a father type figure to me, being with the company as long as I've been alive.
Yep.
And he grew us a lot and took us to a lot of places we haven't been and did really well for us.
What's Larry doing now?
Hopefully he's enjoying a lot of golf.
I love it. Well, Ryan, hey, I'm going to throw your website on the screen here. And anybody's watching, check out gemstatepaper.com. They have all their products and services listed. Again, they have these great distribution warehouses that are full of product, and they have just-in-time delivery for all of your business and retail needs. Ryan, thank you so much for your continued investment in the community, especially the chamber. It means a lot.
You bet. Thank you, Paul.
Hey, we'll see you tonight at the Business After Hours. Thanks for hosting us.
Thank you.